For the last example of day 2 notes, it says find the lengths of 45, 45, 90 triangles and 30, 60, 90 triangles. So you need to look at your triangle and really just see what do you have, what are you dealing with, and then use the correct formulas from the sheet here that we were given. So on the first one, you're given a 45, 45, 90. And so in 45, 45, 90s, your legs are exactly the same. Okay? So if your legs are exactly the same, that means that both of these should be 8 and 8. Your hypotenuse is your leg radical 2. So if my leg is 8, then my hypotenuse is 8 radical 2. And so in here they want just the x value, which is your hypotenuse. So 8 radical 2. All right, in part B, this one, you are given the hypotenuse, which is x radical 2, and that tells you it's 12. So because this is not so easy to figure out, you do have to set up an equation. So I am going to say that this equals x radical 2, and our goal is to find x to get me my leg. And so I need to divide by the square root of 2. And we have discussed that when we divide by the square root of 2, you have to rationalize the denominator. So you would multiply by the denominator. So for the top, we have 12 radical 2. And for the bottom, we have the square root of 2 times square root of 2, which is the square root of 4. But the square root of 4 becomes 2. And we also discussed that we can simplify these fractions. So 12 and 2 are not in a radical, and they divide evenly to be 6 over 1. And so my solution would be 6 radical 2, and that's what equals my leg. So there is a little bit more algebra involved in that problem. Okay, moving on to letter C. We have a 30, 60, 90. So we're working with this here. So our hypotenuse is given, and that is 2x. So for hypotenuse, we were using like a pink color. So I say 2x equals 44, and that means x is really 22. Okay? That 22 represents your short leg. Our short leg is 22. And then our long leg is our blue x radical 3. And so if we know the short distance is 22, the short leg is 22, that means that this is 22 radical 3. And that's what we had to find. We had to find our x value, which would be 22 radical 3. Lastly, for letter D, this time our short leg is 7 radical 3. Okay? And that represents x. Okay? Our long leg, according to this, represents x radical 3. So if I want to plug this in for x, we're looking at x becoming 7 radical 3 times radical 3. And we know that we can multiply radicals. So 3 times 3 is square root of 9. Square root of 9 is 3, and 7 times 3 is 21. So this means that our long leg is 21.